Hello, my name is Rob Garner. I'm a computer programming instructor, and today I'm going to go over using GitHub with Visual Studio. So first, to use GitHub with Visual Studio, you'll need a GitHub account, and you can create one by going to github.com and just sign up, provide an email address and sign up for your GitHub account here. Now, I already have one, so I won't go through the sign-up process, but it's just like any other sign-up process. You provide your an email address. Well, you'll go through here and you'll create your account. So I already have an account, so I'll sign in. There is two-factor authentication set up for GitHub now. So you'll have to pick a method that you prefer. And that'll bring you to your GitHub page. So once you're here, you're ready to go to create repositories. Now you can create your repo in here, but I'm going to show you how you can create them from your application. The other thing that you might need to do is install GitHub itself, or Git itself. And for that, you would go to the git-scm.com website, and you can download Git here. And depending on which client you need. Now, the other nice thing about the Git SCM website is there's this book here, Pro Git by Scott Chacon and Ben Straub. I highly recommend going here if you've never used Git before and read at least through the first 3 chapters. If you go through the first 3 chapters, you know enough to use Git pretty well. And then over time, you can go through the rest of the chapters, which are dealing more with how to set up servers and other tools, more advanced branching strategies, and other features of Git. Those are probably a must-read over time for a developer, but definitely the first 3 chapters will do a very good job of getting you started to understand Git. So once we have that up and running, we can now use it to put our project into source control. Now, another feature which I use in Git is organizations. So you can actually go here to organizations, and you can create an organization. And what that allows you to do is invite collaborators into that one organization and have multiple projects all in there. So if you want to create an organization, you have different tiers. The free tier gives you quite a lot. You'll see that there are some advantages for the team and enterprise one. So if you're making money with your organization, it probably makes sense to get these services. But if you're just experimenting with it, and you have different options. They have this great game that you get to play. And then you can add people to this organization. Well, in this case, I'm not. I'm just using this to demonstrate what an organization would do along with a project. And so here I have my project. I'm going to add it to source control. And I selected Git. So You can add other types of source control to Visual Studio. Git is kind of the default. And you can see here, we can go use GitHub or Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps is also using Git, I believe. That's why it shows up here when I pick Git down below. And there's a couple different ways of creating a repo. You can make it local, which means it will only be on your machine, or you can use GitHub. Both approaches work. If you're working on your own project and you don't really want it to be out there on the web, then you can use this initial. I'm going to use this approach using GitHub. And so, depending on how many counts you have, it'll show you, the count, and then you can pick the owner. Now, if you pick yourself, it'll go into your personal repo, and most of the time that's probably what you want. I'm an instructor, so I often make a GitHub repo for my students, and in that case, there's that organization I just made, and I can place it there, and so now this repo will be in this organization, and anyone I add to that organization would be able to see that easily. You can also add collaborators individually to a personal repo, but when you're dealing with multiple people, it's very helpful to use an organization. And then you can put a description. And you can either make it private or public. I'm going to keep this private for now. You can always change that later. And then you create and push. Now what this does is it will take your project and put it up onto the web. And you can see here there's 80 changes involved, one local commit. We're going to see soon this will be pushed up to the web automatically. So there are these two commits that are automatically being made. We'll understand what a commit is in a second. And if you click on this pencil, it'll bring up the Git Changes dialog. And this shows you a new Git repository has been created and it's been pushed to the web. So you can actually open up the browser directly from here, and that will bring you to this repo that was created. And you can see it's been put into this demo organization I've created. And there is my project. I can actually view all the code in my project here. And just to give an example, here's program.cs. As I'm writing code, I can go in, and if I find that file, program.cs, and so here's the program.cs file. And let's say I just want, for now, I'm just going to put in a comment at the top. So I have a comment. I'm going to save this. And right now, this is saved to my computer. And we can see that we have a change identified here. So if I click on this pencil on this change, it shows me the list of changes. In fact, if I double click on program.cs here now, it'll actually show me what the old version was and what the new version was. And we can see there's nothing before in this space up here, and then we added this. So this shows you the changes. And so, sometimes you're trying to remember, what did I do? And you can see with that what was changed. If you wanted to undo it, you could actually undo changes that are pending here. There's this undo button, so if you decide you want to go back, you could, but you will permanently lose your changes if you do that. And then once you're ready with what you currently did, you can put a commit message. You want a descriptive statement in your commit messages so that you can use them to search through later if you need to find a particular commit. And then you commit them. Now, it's still not on the server. If you look down here, if there's a number here, that means you have one outgoing commit. If I go back to GitHub and I look, if I look at program.cs, you notice that it's not here yet. So how do I get that up on the server? Well, there's a push button. You can either hit push or you can hit sync. Sync will pull and push. There's no changes up there, so I'm just going to put push. And when you push, it'll send that up to the server. And you'll see when it's done, it says initiating push, and then it gives you a message that it's successfully pushed. You should see this go to 0. Normally, you want all of these to be zeros as much as possible. That means that everything's current. And then if I refresh GitHub, the GitHub page, you'll notice that the comment now shows up in there. So that's how you can work with GitHub, use an organization, and push your changes up to the browser. Thank you very much.